Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Data's in Control podcast. My name is Brian Chauvin, and I'm the founder of Data's in Control. Before I start today's episode, I wanted to ask you guys a favor. Could you please head on over to iTunes or the podcast app that you're using, and please rate and review the podcast. Rating and reviewing the podcast helps us get exposure. It helps deliver our message to other men and women that would benefit from hearing what we have to say. So thanks in advance. Now let's get into today's topic. It seems as though it's an unwritten rule with men that we can't talk about specific problems in our lives. Now, we can talk as a group with our friends about stupid shit that our wives have done, stupid things that our kids have done. We could joke around about having a weight problem. We could joke around about being bald. But it seems like we can't talk about financial instability. We can't talk about mental problems or being vulnerable about the way that we feel inside, whether it's anxiety, depression, blah, blah, blah. And I wonder why. This code of suffering and silence has affected me in the past. Now, let me tell you a little story that goes back a number of years. So I was a member of a mastermind, and it was a group of men that got together that talked about and learned about a whole bunch of different techniques and ways to cope and deal. Now, I felt extremely comfortable with these guys, and they got to know me, and I feel like I got to know them. But when we were in the classroom setting, when we were together in the room, we were talking about issues, specifically problems that we weren't confronting. And this gentleman stood up and said, "Well, guys, I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent next month. I have no idea. I have no money coming in. I'm scared, and I don't know what to do." Holy shit. I wasn't alone. Let me put a little bit of context to this. Now, my bills were paid, and I wasn't financially hurting, but I was feeling financially inadequate. I had a financial something going on inside my head that just wasn't right. But rather than talking to my wife or my friends about it, I suffered in silence. I thought I could do the same thing that I always did and deal with the problem. Well, that problem with the mindset is, if you always do what you've always done, you're always gonna get what you've always got. Now, listening to these guys and listening to them solve this gentleman's problem and brainstorm with him made me realized that I wasn't alone, that it was okay to talk about these things, that it was okay to be vulnerable and ask for help, and to be and surround myself with people that are willing to listen, willing to help. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I know that there is a place and time for these conversations. However, I also know that I've been to places and I've heard people talking with complete strangers about completely inappropriate things. I mean, let's face it, the bartender doesn't need to know about all of your worldly problems, about how you feel with yourself, how about this, how about that. The bartender is there trying to make an honest dollar. So why is it that we can be more vulnerable and more out there with the bartender than we can our coach, our wife, our friends, our teammates, our partners, whatever? The answer to that comes down to one thing, I believe, and that is liquid courage. We suffer in silence. The alcohol, the sedation, the methods that we use to calm our nerves, to put our problems in the back of our head, oftentimes will allow them to creep out in inappropriate times. So what's my point? Why am I saying this? Why am I recording this podcast? Well, the code of men to suffer in silence, the old way of thinking of, you have to be strong and silent, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's just it. If we always do what we've always done, we're always going to get what we've always got. You're always going to get the same results. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking at leveling up mankind. I want everyone to be better. I want everyone to solve their problems, and I want everyone to feel comfortable about talking about their problems. Because you don't need to suffer in silence. Chances are, if you have money issues, if you have mental health problems, if you're scared, if you have anxiety, if you have all of these things going on in your head, chances are that one of the people in your immediate circle have dealt with the same thing or have been with, or you know someone that can help you with, give you advice because they've been there, because maybe they are there, and you're not alone. You see, you're not alone. But part of this problem with men, part of our issue as men, is the ego, is the need to fix things by ourselves. I need to do this because I'm the man. But don't you see? The way that you're handling this, the way that you're feeling, the way that you're thinking about this is causing such an energy drain in your life that your kids are suffering, your wife is suffering, your whole lifestyle is suffering. Maybe your work's suffering, maybe you're having financial problems and you're thinking impure thoughts about finances. Maybe you're thinking about doing something stupid to recover your thoughts, to recover your losses, to help you out. When in actuality, it's just as simple as reach out and ask for help. Ask your coach, ask your friend, ask a financial expert. Reach out and people will help you. People will help solve your problem because people have been there. So back to my mastermind. Back to the story. After walking and talking with these men, after eating with these men, after sweating with these men, after crying with these men, I feel like these 19 men are some of my best friends in the world. I feel so comfortable with these men. I feel like I know these men and I could trust these men, and I can call each and every one of these guys at any time and reach out with a problem, and they'll be there for me. Because that's what true friends do. True friends talk to each other, true friends listen to each other, and they brainstorm and they help solve the other's problem. I consider these guys, let's say, partners in an elite fraternity that I belong to. Because, let's face it, I don't let just anybody into my mental status, my personal issues. But these men, in my opinion, they're royalty. They're there. They're part of this elite fraternity, and they always will be. They will always be my brothers no matter what happens. And I urge you people out there that are listening to this podcast to develop, to start having these vulnerable discussions, these conversations with people. And if you haven't started it yet and you're looking for a place to do it, boy, do I have an answer for you. The Dad in Control movement has started a Facebook group. This Facebook group is free of charge. It's for men only. A place where men can go and ask for advice and ask for solutions and voice their opinions and put themselves out there vulnerably. It's a place of no judgment. It's a place where you can go not to be alone, so that you don't have to suffer in silence, because you're not alone, because we've been there, because we want to help. This group is free of charge and completely 100% only men. So if this sounds like a conversation that you want to have, if this sounds like a conversation that you want to join, a place that you want to go, it's easy to join. Just head on over to dadisincontrol.com. Click the button to join the free Facebook group. It's that simple. And we'll see you on the inside of the group. All right, guys, thanks for listening to today's episode of the Dad in Control podcast. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to seeing you inside the Facebook group. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach on out at any time. We'll talk soon.